All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for this webinar where we'll discuss our two-way Salesforce integration. There will be some Chargify technical experts on the lines, so please wait until the end of the demonstration, and we'll be happy to answer any and all questions related to the integration. I'm going to talk and run through the slides a little quickly because I know there's going to be a lot of questions at the end, so bear with me. I'm going to cover some basic information about the integration, and then we can dive right into a demo to show you what it can do. We will cover the benefits of using the integration if you use Salesforce and Chargify, system requirements and cost, how often the data sync takes place for various types of information, how the integration matches Chargify records to Salesforce records when you sync your data, which standard and custom objects are used for the integration, and a full demo of the functionality and configuration options. We will briefly review the tabs and custom fields that are created during the installation process. We'll also show you how to create and manage subscriptions from within Salesforce. And this is also where we'll review the various use cases that the integration can accommodate. If you're an existing Chargify customer using our V1 integration, we'll discuss the migration path. And we also have some additional features planned already, so we'll cover what's coming soon. Then we'll open it up for some Q&A at the end. So the biggest benefit of using the Chargify for Salesforce integration is the two-way sync. What you update in Chargify gets pushed to Salesforce, and what you update in Salesforce can be pushed back to Chargify. You can manage the entire customer lifecycle from sales process through conversion to subscription management right inside Salesforce. You can link multiple Chargify sites or subdomains to a single Salesforce account. This is helpful for anyone that wants to create cross-site reporting inside Salesforce. You can automatically match Chargify subscriptions to existing Salesforce records in a couple of different ways. We'll discuss that a little further in a bit when we cover use cases. You'll also have the option of converting leads based on matching email address. The integration also allows you to manage your Chargify subscriptions from within Salesforce. You can do things like create subscriptions, change products, review historical transactions, cancel, reactivate, and a lot more. There are some system requirements and costs associated with the integration. It will work with any Chargify plan, including free trial plans for testing purposes. The integration requires Salesforce Developer, Enterprise, or Unlimited plans. Unfortunately, it won't work with Professional Edition because Force.com Sites functionality is required, which isn't available as an add-on for Professional, but it is included in Enterprise and Unlimited. The integration is not yet compatible with Lightning components, so Classic View is required, but we're working on Lightning compatibility. We'll discuss that further toward the end of the webinar. Salesforce licenses will be $20 per user per month. You can create a user profile in your Salesforce account to limit the number of users with access. There is a 2-week free trial when you first download the app from the Salesforce App Exchange. If you decide to continue with the service, you can contact Chargify support to request the number of licenses you'll need after the trial. The installation and configuration process is pretty well documented, but as anybody that's used Salesforce before knows, it's a bit of a process to complete. You're more than welcome, and we encourage you to install and configure the package yourself, but if you'd like assistance, we're offering a service to handle the installation on your behalf for a one-time fee of $999. The service will include a discovery call, installation and configuration in a sandbox account, so you can test the data flow. And then once you're happy with the configuration, we would install it in your production account with the agreed upon configuration, sync your historical data, and review any errors that are generated. The integration will automatically create and update products, components, coupons, and custom field attributes every 30 minutes. What that means is if you create a product inside Chargify, it will be created in Salesforce within 30 minutes. As a side note, these attributes are a one-way sync and can only be created inside Chargify. Webhooks are used for subscription and customer activity, including subscription creation, subscription and customer updates, renewals, and component allocations. There's no API sync for subscription and customer data, so if you'd like to configure a backup sync on a weekly or monthly basis, there's instructions that are available in our documentation at help.chargify.com. When you sync your data from Chargify to Salesforce, the integration will store your Chargify customer ID in the Salesforce account and contact. The Chargify subscription ID will be stored in the associated opportunities. This structure is an exact mirror of how data is stored in Chargify. Just as there can be multiple subscriptions attached to one customer in Chargify, here you can see that there's 2 active subscriptions. There can be multiple opportunities attached to one account and contact in Salesforce. And here you can see the same 2 active subscriptions as the Chargify customer record above it. Bear with me one second. Now I'm going to jump into the demo to show you what the integration can do. Just bear with me one second. Okay, so on the left I have my Salesforce account, and on the right I have my Chargify account. When you download the integration from Salesforce app, a new Chargify section is created for you. And a number of tabs will be configured at the top. During the installation, there's instructions to configure layouts for accounts, contacts, opportunities, and products. Each of the standard objects in Salesforce will store the custom Chargify field values for customer and subscription data. So, for example, in the account, any user with access to the Chargify integration will be able to see a number of custom fields in the account. So the Chargify section is created here. You can see the subdomain that the subscription is linked to, Chargify customer ID, reference ID, the date and time stamp that the customer was created in Chargify, and any CC email addresses that are attached to the customer record. In the contacts, in the Chargify section, you'll have the Chargify customer ID. And in the opportunities, the Chargify section is created, and you can see the subdomain that the subscription belongs to, subscription ID, whether it's active, past due, canceled, and so on, what the next renewal date and timestamp is, if there's an expiration timestamp attached, whether it's an automatic or invoice subscription is the payment collection method, the current version of the product that the subscription is attached to, the net amount, which is a combination of the product and components combined, minus any coupon discounts. The total revenue for the subscription, as you can see, it matches up to the total revenue in Chargify. The current balance, if any, a coupon if applied, the coupon code, the coupon value, and a coupon counter. The coupon counter is calculated by looking at the product, indicates how many times the coupon has been used. If, for example, the coupon is valid for 3 renewals and it's been applied twice, you'll see the number 2 in that field here. The opportunity is also where you'll find most of the subscription management features. So in the Chargify Actions section, there's a number of buttons created. Almost all functionality available inside the Chargify Actions dropdown for the subscription is also available in Salesforce. So you can do things like change the next billing date, add one-time charges, change plan, and I'll show you this as an example. We also have all of the different change plan functionality for change product immediately with no proration, delayed product change with no proration, or upgrade downgrade with proration. You can also add and remove coupons. You can cancel the subscription. The integration is intuitive, and if it's an active subscription, the cancel button appears. If it's canceled, this will be replaced with a reactivate button. You can adjust the balance, add new payment methods, process refunds, record external payments and refunds, as well as update components. The Chargify transaction history is also available inside of the opportunities. So if you click View Transactions, an API call is made to grab all historical transaction line items and will be displayed just as it does in Chargify. So if I look at the transactions in Chargify, you see the same thing: charge, adjustment, payments, and it's all listed here. This is also where you can view and edit custom fields if you use them. So if I hit View Custom Fields, it's an API call that grabs all of the custom fields and values associated with the subscription. I can update them if you have PO numbers, if you have t-shirt sizes, whatever you'd like. I can change this value and hit Update, or I can add additional and apply them to the subscription. And then if I come over into Chargify, that information will now appear. So now I have all three of my custom fields. So back in the accounts, you can also create subscriptions in Salesforce. So for example, if I have an account and a contact with a valid Chargify customer ID, I can hit Create Subscription in Chargify, and then a form will appear. I can select my product. I can allocate components. Let me actually get something with a value here. Okay, so now I have an actual cost to show you an example. You can add coupons, add all other required fields for shipping, billing address, credit card, select whether it's an automatic or invoice subscription, and then add custom fields. I also have a subscription preview button so that you can look at all of the line items associated with that subscription as well as a total before you process, and that's helpful if you're support or sales staff are adding subscriptions for somebody while they're on the phone. You can at least read back what the total is going to be, and then you can create the subscription from there. When you create the subscription from the account level, it creates a new opportunity. But if you can also create a subscription by adding a new opportunity and create a subscription from the opportunity level. And what that'll do is update the existing opportunity. If you don't already have a valid customer ID stored in the account and contact, meaning the customer doesn't exist inside Chargify yet, you just have to take a couple of extra steps. So I can create a new account, enter in some minimum fields. Let's call this Company Co. as the account name. And I also have to specify what the subdomain is. Because you can link multiple sites to a single Salesforce account, you have to tell it which site you want this customer to be created on. So I'll just use my test site here, hit save. And then I also have to create a contact associated with the account. So minimum required here is first name and last name and email address. And I can hit save here. And from the contact, if I hit create customer in Chargify, it'll ask me to confirm. Oh, email's already in use. Let me update that. As you can see, there's proper warnings in place. So now I have a unique email. I can create the customer in Chargify, confirm. Created successfully. If I hit close, it'll refresh the page, and now my customer ID is stored here. So now if I copy my customer ID and I come into Chargify, here's my newly created customer, but I don't have any subscriptions attached to it yet. So again, if you want to go back into the account, you can create a subscription from here to create a new opportunity, or we can create a new opportunity and create a subscription from there to update the existing one. So that's pretty much the gist of the subscription management. I want to show you a little bit about the other tabs for products and product families and coupons. So it's going to store all of the product information inside your standard price books. So this is for products and components. If it's a product, I'll have things like the Chargify product ID, accounting code, if you use one, the API handle, the product family it's associated with, product family ID, product version, and then interval and interval unit, which in this case is 1 month, and the price and cents. If this were a component, I would have a pricing scheme and a component type, but no interval and interval unit, since the product is what dictates that renewal. Inside the product families, it has all of your basic product family information. It's just a few fields there, same as it would be inside Chargify. And in coupons, all of the coupon data is stored here. It makes it helpful for your sales and support staff to find a coupon, grab the coupon code, and go and apply it to one of the subscriptions or opportunities inside Salesforce. You have all of the information here, whether it's a % discount, a discount amount, created a coupon code, and so on. So the configuration tab is where you'll configure the entire integration. This is where you'll enter your API key and subdomain. You can filter out products from being synced inside Salesforce by entering the product ID. You can grab the product ID inside Chargify. Which is available right on the main product screen. Enter that in here, and the integration will not import any subscriptions that are created for that product. And that's helpful if you have test products and things like that that you don't want to have appear inside your Salesforce account. You can choose how long you want to store your log files. It defaults to 12 hours, and it can go up to 72. So the reason it's limited is because that does count against your data limits in Salesforce. So if you hit your data limits, the integration can't import any additional subscription information for a 24-hour period. And the match Chargify data to existing account contact and opportunity is where the bulk of the integration really lives. I'm going to start by showing you the matching options for account contact and opportunity. And you have 3 options here. You can either choose to not match Chargify subscriptions to existing Salesforce records and always create a new account contact and opportunity when a subscription is created. You can choose to match based on email address, or you can choose to match based on reference ID if you use the unique reference ID in the customer records in Chargify. When you select match contact email or match reference ID, you'll notice that there's some additional options that appear. You can choose to match subscriptions to an existing opportunity. And when you select this, it'll link to an existing opportunity if one is created attached to an account in contact when it finds the email address or reference ID. If it's unselected, we'll always create a new opportunity attached to that account contact. If you select this checkbox, another setting also opens up in the trialing subscription behavior. You have the option to include trialing subscriptions in the matching roles that you've selected above, and it'll treat those trialing subscriptions just as any active subscription. Or you can update existing opportunities with new subscriptions that are in trialing, but not create new ones. That use case might be if your sales team is working with leads and manually converts them to account, contact, and opportunity, and when a trialing subscription is created, they want that subscription data attached to that opportunity. But if they aren't working with the lead, they don't want the opportunity to be created until it's become active. That seems to be a fairly common use case if you use trialing subscriptions, especially free trials. And then the third option is to not import any trialing subscriptions until they're active. The integration also allows you to convert leads to account, contact, and opportunity based on the email address. Historical data import settings. This is helpful for people that are current Chargify merchants and are going to set this integration up for the first time. If you have historical data inside Chargify, you can choose to import all historical data at the initial sync, or you can import subscriptions on the basis of start date and subscription state. So if I wanted to import only active, trialing, and past due subscriptions that are in a live state, I could choose a current timestamp, or any timestamp in the past. You also have some options for the opportunity naming convention. You can choose to name the opportunity by organization name and product name, or by product name only. And last but not least, there's a checkbox at the bottom to reassign the Chargify background job. This comes in handy if the person that installed the managed package initially is leaving your company and their user license is going to be removed. The background job has to be reassigned to another user for the integration to continue working properly. So a new user with access to the Chargify integration would log in, select this checkbox, hit submit, and all those background jobs will be reassigned to them. So inside the Chargify settings tab, this is just a basic overview of the Chargify configuration. So it'll give you the details of what your configuration is here. We also have Chargify logs. The Chargify logs are where any errors will be displayed that occur during webhook update or API sync. Luckily, I have no errors, so that's a good thing. This is the best place to start if you're investigating an issue, or if you find that maybe a webhook didn't update something. It'll give you the descriptive error message along with some information about whether it was a lead, an opportunity, an account, and so on. And then you can always reach out to Chargify support and we can help you out. And that concludes the demo portion of the webinar. So now I just want to briefly touch on the migration process. If you're an existing Chargify customer and you've been using the Salesforce integration with one-way sync, it creates accounts and contacts and attaches notes with the subscription information. There's a few steps that you have to take to avoid creating duplicate accounts and contacts when switching to the new two-way integration. Because the accounts and contacts already exist in Salesforce for each of those Chargify subscriptions, you'll need to attach the Chargify customer IDs to the accounts and contacts in Salesforce. This can be done by exporting Chargify subscriptions and importing those values using the Salesforce import wizard. The step-by-step process was thoroughly tested and is well documented, and I'm happy to say pretty easy to follow. Once the import is complete, you would need to disable the one-way integration and enable the two-way integration, and begin the initial sync to populate the Chargify field values and create opportunities for those existing accounts. So as part of our core values, Chargify is committed to improving always, which means we will continue to add features to the integration as needed. So let's talk about some of the planned improvements that are coming soon. As I mentioned earlier, the current integration is compatible with Salesforce Classic, but we're actively working toward Lightning compatibility, and probably within the next month or so. We will, of course, retain backward compatibility with Classic. We'll also be adding some additional options to the trialing subscription configuration. Currently, when a subscription is created in Chargify and matched to an existing opportunity in Salesforce, the integration automatically converts it to closed won and 100% probability. So during beta testing, we had a couple of requests to be able to add the option to retain the current stage and probability at the time of subscription creation. And now I want to open up the floor to any questions that you have. On your GoToWebinar control panel, please feel free to ask any questions in the section labeled questions.